The sky hung heavy, a bruised expanse of blood-red clouds pressing down on the horizon. Zara hit the ground hard. Her knees struck the cracked, parched earth with a dull thud, sending a plume of gray dust swirling into the stagnant air. She gasped, her chest heaving, fingers clawing at the dry soil. Then, the silence broke. Beneath the skin of her forearm, a faint golden flicker ignited. It was not a reflection, it was internal, a sharp, bioluminescent spark that defied the gloom. She tried to pull her arm away, but the light surged. A pulse throbbed, then glowed, spiderwebbing outward, racing through her veins like molten metal. It was hot, a searing, liquid heat that forced her to arch her back. The dust around her knees began to dance, lifted by an invisible force. She was a beacon of something ancient. Liam took a step forward, his fingers tightening around the hilt of his sword. He stopped dead. The air between them had grown heavy, thick with a pressure that made his lungs ache. He did not need to draw his blade. The threat had vanished. Vazirith moved. The massive dragon, a creature of scale and shadow, lowered its head until its snout pressed firmly into the dirt. It remained there, motionless, in a gesture of absolute, primal submission. The dragon was not bowing to Zara. It was bowing to the force now anchored within her. Zara did not see the dragon. Her eyes were fixed on a horizon that no longer existed. Images tore through her mind with blinding speed. She saw stars igniting in the dark, brilliant pinpricks of fire tearing through the void. She watched worlds coalesce from swirling gas and primordial dust, spinning into existence. A feeling of pure power raced through her being. Zara's heart hammered against her ribs, a rhythmic, thunderous beat that echoed through the bedrock of the kingdom. With every contraction, the earth shuddered. The ruined stone towers, long abandoned to decay, began to groan. Cracks spiderwebbed up the ancient masonry, mortar crumbling into dust as the structure shifted to match her cadence. It was a violent, structural realignment. Deep beneath the city, long-dead hearths sparked, one by one. Cold, ash-filled fireplaces roared back to life. Flames erupted in the empty halls, casting long, flickering shadows. Liam stumbled back, shielding his face as a nearby wall groaned and tilted, its stones vibrating in sympathy. The ground beneath them rippled like water. Every dead thing in the city seemed to draw breath. Zara remained at the center of the chaos, her chest rising and falling in perfect, terrifying time with the awakening world. Zara rose. Her movements were no longer the hesitant gestures of a woman, but fluid, heavy, and precise. Gold light burned in her eyes, casting a harsh, unnatural glow across the surrounding rubble. She took a single step forward, and the air before her shimmered like heat haze on a desert road. She did not walk. She vanished. A sharp flash of silver light cut through the gloom, and she reappeared 50 feet away, standing atop a pile of shattered masonry. She looked at her palms, where the light pulsed beneath her skin, like molten metal. She did not run. She folded the space between her and the horizon, stepping through the seams of reality. One moment she was by the dragon. The next, she hovered 20 feet above the center of the fallen kingdom. Silver light swirled around her, a storm of energy that defied gravity. She looked down at the city, her gaze piercing through the dust and shadow. She whispered, "The star of creation. It is alive." The air around her crackled with the sound of tearing fabric. She reached out, and the space between the towers bent to her will, pulling the world into her orbit, far beyond the reach of the stars, where light dies and time ceases to flow. The void held its breath. It was a suffocating, absolute silence that had endured for eons. Then, the ripple arrived. It traveled through the fabric of the dark, a tremor of pure, creative energy. The darkness shuddered. Noga sat upon a throne of nothingness, his presence a void within the void. He felt the shift. It was a prick of heat in a realm of infinite cold, a sharp, invasive intrusion that defied his dominion. For the first time since the dawn of existence, the Lord of the Void did not command. He recoiled. A sensation he had never known, cold, sharp, and undeniable, bloomed in the center of his being. Fear. The star of creation had awakened, and the war for the universe had begun.